Garp! 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 Come on, everybody! Come on! I can hear you cheering! Come on, let's cheer! Garp! 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 Are you cheering? Because otherwise I'm gonna feel really, really stupid if I'm the only one cheering. Come on, I don't care where you're at right now. If you're in a busy, crowded cafe, if you're in, I don't know, university or something in the middle of class right now, it's like teching, I don't really, okay, screw it. Garp! 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 Yeah, come on! Feel the energy! The energy of the fist! Come on, ladies and gentlemen! You know what's really fun? This is really fun. Go and, on YouTube, look up the first opening to One Punch Man. If you've never seen One Punch Man, what are you even doing with your life? But look up the first opening of One Punch Man. I wanna be a hero! That kind of thing, okay? And just, instead of Saitama, just swap out Garp. It works so good. Power! Need more power! It works so well. It works so well. All right. The last chapter was incredible. Don't get me wrong. I love Shanks. Shanks is a sexy man. He's fantastic, and he's going to do some really cool stuff moving forward in the future, okay? But this is Garp we're talking about here, alright? This is One Piece chapter 1080 review titled The Legendary Hero. Oh, you bet he is. You bet he is, alright? 1080 chapters, Oda. 1080 damn chapters to get to this moment. This is the whole reason I started reading One Piece. Whole reason. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, I cannot wait for Garp to do stuff. Actually, oddly enough, Garp didn't even show up in the first chapter at all. That was something that was more of the prototype chapters for One Piece, like the Romance Dawn V1 and V2. Garp was very prominent in those as Luffy's grandpa. So when the actual manga started, it was the first chapter is really all about Shanks and Luffy and how he got the Straw Hat and everything like that, right? So it was kind of dubious whether or not Luffy's grandfather character would have actually even showed up, and I think the first time Garp appears is actually during a cover page series, the Kobe Meppo thing. So, yeah, but here we are. Took a long time to get here, but we're finally here. That's how you know we're really entering endgame level stuff, when Garp is finally doing stuff in this story. All right, anyway, cover page, we're back to the fan art requests for Oda. We have Hiyori and Kawamatsu making origami together in Wano. That's adorable. That's nice. They're making little cranes. That's actually really cool because Kawamatsu is now, I'm gonna take this as canon. I know it's just a little fan art request, but you could see this. You could see, after the battle has ended, everybody's settled and healed up and everything. Momonosuke is now the new shogun. Hiyori just, walks over to Kawamatsu and be like, oh my god, Kawamatsu. It's like, oh, it's okay, Hiyori. It's all gonna be okay. He's like, you wanna go make origami cranes together? Like, yes, Lady Hiyori, I would. And then they go outside and make origami cranes. They have a nice little Sunday afternoon together. It's all good. It's happy. By the way, it's just a fan art thing, but we might very well be starting a cover page spread involving Wano, the next cover series. And considering where we're at in the story right now and how the Germa Double Six is connected back to what's happening right now, if we do a Wano cover series, it's probably going to be occurring at the same point that stuff's happening right now, and we might see Yamato or something leaving Wano to go to the Straw Hats or something like that. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so this entire chapter takes place on the pirate paradise Hachinosu, the Beehive, full of lead island, as it is in the Viz translation. One of the few Viz translations I think they nailed perfectly. They just calling the pirate island full of lead, that works perfect. Very badass. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff in this chapter, guys. A lot of stuff. We find out a lot of new Devil Fruit abilities from Blackbeard's crew. We also get some Devil Fruit abilities from the members of Sword. We find out really what Sword is as an organization, as how it's connected to the Marines and all that stuff. But first and foremost, we have Kobe, all right? So remember the whole Captain Kobe incident where Kobe was captured by Blackbeard at Amazon Lily. Blackbeard retreated because Rayleigh showed up, but not before grabbing Kobe and bringing him back with him. And it was the big question of why would Blackbeard want Kobe? Apparently they did have a connection. The whole Rocky Port incident, and it was confirmed in this chapter. It was implied earlier, but it's confirmed 100%. The Rocky rocky port is on Hachinosu, okay? So when Ochoku or Wang Ji controlled Hachinosu, the rocky port was the port into the island, and that rocky port incident apparently involved a lot of innocent civilians almost getting killed, and then that's when Kobe saved them all, and that's how he got the title of hero in the Marines. Blackbeard was also there, and he ousted Wang. So then it makes you wonder, like, you know, because that Rocky Port incident was mentioned. He saved a bunch of civilians during the Rocky Port incident. Well, the Rocky Port incident was on Pirate Island. So that's what I think. I think Wang wasn't an active pirate. I think he was, like, retired, and he just, like, moved to the Hachinosu, because that's where Rox used to live. And so Rox was, like, gone after God Valley, and so Wang is just like, I'm just gonna move to God Valley, not God Valley, I'm gonna move to Hachinosu, I'm gonna take it over. And, you know, Wang Ji might be well into his, like, 80s or 90s. He's like an old pirate at this point. He's like, I'm just gonna retire and live here. Maybe he reformed the island, turned it into a nice little area, nice little beachfront properties or condos or whatever. And then Blackbeard showed up, and he attacked, and then civilians were in danger, and then Kobe showed up and saved them. And so that whole exchange ended with Kobe being the hero, and also Law was involved in it in some way. Law was involved in this Rocky Port incident. That's how he became a warlord. Well, okay. The reason he became a warlord was because he sent 100 hearts to Marine HQ. The Rocky Port incident, though, he was deemed as the mastermind behind. But then Blackbeard was also in this, too. So I'm not really sure. I think it might have just been maybe the Rocky Port incident made it easier for Blackbeard to take over Hachinosu. Something of that. But anyway, so Kobe was captured on Hachinosu. However, he has broken free of his cell, and he's running around the town right now. His clothing's all ripped up. He has like this iron ball, you know, like back in the day, like back in the Old West. I don't know if it was ever actually used, probably was, but like, you know, to make sure a prisoner would not leave if they escaped, they strapped like the iron ball and chain to their ankle. So Kobe has like this giant iron ball, which I wonder if that'll come into play later, given the fact that Garp picks these things up and throws them like they're softballs, and Kobe is the, you know, the student of Garp. But Kobe, I mean, he's a really strong dude anyway, so picking up this, I don't even know why they bothered attaching that to him, to be honest with you. Even if that iron ball and chain weighs literally 1,000 pounds, which I don't think it's that heavy, it's probably just a few hundred pounds, but even if it was a 1,000-pound iron ball that was attached to Kobe, it's Kobe. He could just, ugh. I mean, it might be a little heavy, but it's just like, he's fine, don't worry about it. So he's just running around the town here. So all of the pirates on Pirate Island, I'm not even sure if they all are part of Blackbeard's crew, because it's Pirate Island, it's the paradise of pirates. This might just be like a safe haven for pirates to chill out without worrying about the Marines attacking. So anyway, there's just a bunch of like riff-raff kind of pirates. The sort of like, yarg me hearties, shiver me timbers, Captain Kobe's gone missing, let's capture him and turn him into the cross-skilled matey. Yarg! Bang, 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 bang! You know, it's like, yeah, it's having a great time on Pirate Island, all right? So we get to see one of the Marine wanted posters up close that the Cross Guild has issued. We saw some of these earlier. I made a whole video about it, but it was kind of a little, you know, dubious exactly what they looked like or exactly how they were structured, because they look different than the official government-issued wanted posters for pirates, like back here, okay? So they're a lot simpler. Pretty much it just says reward, and then there's a picture of the Marine that the bounty is out on, and then there's a level of stars. Now, before when we saw them, there were also like crowns as symbols as well. So there's like stars that mean a certain amount of things, and then there's a crown, which I think are for the more high-profile Marines, and then there's the name of the Marine in question. So in the case here, we have Kobe, and by the way, Kobe's like official wanted poster picture is kind of dorky. So Kobe wears glasses, like these big round glasses, right? And he also has like a Marine cap on. So he kind of looks like a dork. I mean, nothing against Kobe. I'm just saying that, like, this looks like his official Marine photo. Like, Captain Kobe, come in here for your official Marine photo. And he walks over and he's just like, all right, oh man, this is picture day. I'm so excited. He puts on his Marine cap and he straightens his glasses and he's just like, he's not smiling in it, but he looks kind of dorky, but it's Kobe, whatever. So Kobe is issued 5 stars. Now this is very similar to the death game that Doflamingo did back at Dressrosa, where he was issuing stars for like principal players in the downfall of, like, you know, the Dressrosa and his empire and everything. So he issued bounties on like Sabo and Luffy and Kyros and King Riku Dole III and everybody like that. and 1 star equaled 100 million berries if you could capture this person and turn them in. So it's something similar to that here, where they mention that 5 stars means that you are given 5 treasure boxes, and each treasure box is equivalent to like 100 million so far. So maybe not necessarily in gold or berries, but like treasure, because they're pirates. You know, that's what the Cross Guild is at the end of the day. So I find it funny though. It's it kind of reminds me of I don't know what you would call them, but because I don't really play them all that much, but you know the games where they're mobile games mainly, and you gain a certain amount of points and you could trade them in for like a pack of cards or like a little treasure box that opens up, and you're like trying like a gacha game kind of, but not really. I don't know if they are gacha games, are they? I don't know. I don't really play them all that much, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like, oh yeah, turn in a Marine. Oh, Kobe, he's worth 5 stars. All right, you get 5 mystery boxes. Oh man, I hope there's a Blue Eyes in one of these. Nope. Nope. Oh, I already have 4 of those. Nope. Just like that. That would be kind of funny. But no, it's like, so 1 star is equivalent roughly to 100 million. So Kobe, though, because he has the title of hero and because he's like a special rank, then he gets 5 stars because he has more renowned in the world. So you can see that's where the Cross Guild is really going with it. That's kind of like Buggy's plan. Maybe Crocodile's plan, but it's Buggy's plan. Let's be honest here. You know, he doesn't really necessarily just rank them all purely on their rank, like the Marine rank, on the number of stars they have. They go by renowned and you know, the fame they have in the world. Just like how, you know, it's not just strength alone that a pirate's bounty is the deciding factor. It could be by their renowned of infamy, how brutal they are. You know, like Captain Kidd had a higher bounty than Luffy at Sabaody because he was a lot more, you know, cruel to the people that he attacked and everything like that. So that's the kind of factors you take into play here, okay? So this is also interesting to kind of set up what other Marines' bounties could be. If captains are only given 1 star, then any rank lower than captain might not even have a bounty. Obviously, the Cross Guild cannot issue bounties for every single Marine. Like, if you drag in a seaman apprentice or something like that, it's like, I grabbed him, you know, they might give you like, okay, great, here, have like a single gold coin or have like 100 berries or something like that, but they can't issue bounties for every single low-ranking Marine. They're probably going to stick to the officers, and even with the officers, captain is not the lowest rank. It's like ensign, and then you have all of the lieutenant classes, and then you have commander, and then you have captain. So maybe if captains are 1 star, maybe commanders, which is 1 rank below captain, maybe that's like half of a star or something like that, but there's a certain point where there probably wouldn't even be bounty posters. Also makes you wonder if we literally just go 1 star for every rank. So if captains are 1 star, the next rank above captain is commodores. So would commodores get 2 stars? Would rear admirals get 3 stars? Vice admirals get 4? That doesn't make any sense. So there has to be a jump at a certain point. At the end of the day, and I made a whole video on it, so I'm not going to go whole into the bounties with Marines and everything, but like, you know, issuing bounties on Marines' heads maybe isn't so much about actually like the Cross Guild thinking that somebody's really going to bring in the vice admirals or the admirals. You know, obviously no one's going to bring in Kizaru. I mean, that's pretty tough, but it's the idea of causing chaos. It's the idea that turning the normal civilians of the world against the Marines in a way. That's kind of what their goal is. So they're all out for, you know, capturing Kobe here. At the same time this is happening, the giant skull mountain of Fulaled, you know, the giant skull that's there that looks like a pirate wearing a bandana and having the skull, like stereotypical like Scooby-Doo kind of skull. It starts talking. It starts talking. It just moves its mouth and its eyes are like moving, and it's just like, I feel a strange tickle in my left cheek here, or my left part of my chest. This is where we kept all of the prisoners, all the slaves to be sold. They escaped, didn't they? All right, and so we have now the other members of the pirates. You know, they're all around town, and they're just like, oh, what do you want with him, Pizarro? I mean, we're gonna capture Kobe, right? And so the Skull Mountain is like, you fools, make sure to bring him back alive. Teach needs him. And then we have Kobe running around town, and he's in a different area, and he still has the iron ball, and all of the other prisoners and slaves that were captive inside of Hachinosu, he he freed as well, and they all mention as much. They're like, "Oh man, Captain Kobe, you're such a swell guy. I know why you're called the hero. You could have just left us there in the cells to rot. If it's more dangerous to, help us escape. You could have escaped on your own easy, but you're helping us, and you're a true saint, and we love you, Captain Kobe." So that's cool. Kobe's a good guy, Also, we see a few, we see a member of the Snake Neck tribe in this group. We also see, I think, a mink, like a fox mink. So there were a few people that were captured on the island here, okay? So you see Kobe there, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm grateful and everything, but I think they're onto us right now. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go lure them away because they're gonna be after me because I'm the one that has the bounty on my head. So I'm gonna lure them away. You take the opportunity to sneak off the island. You guys get out of here." So all the members of all the prisoners and everything are just like, "Oh, thank you so much, Captain Kobe. You're a saint." And then they start running off. Okay, so Kobe separates from them and try to lure all the pirates away. Keep in mind, most of the pirates we see in this chapter that are actually chasing after Kobe are random riffraff pirates. They're not like high-ranking members of Blackbeard's crew or anything. They're just like an angry mob trying to grab Kobe for the reward money. That's pretty much all they're there for. Okay, but seriously though, what was up with the Skull Mountain talking? Was that like the ghost of Rocks or something? Rocks has been reincarnated as the Skull Mountain. He's like, "Teach, you will be the next king of the world." That would be fun. But no, this was actually Avalo Pizarro. One of the members of the pirates were talking to the Skull as if he was Avalo Pizarro, the corrupt king. And in fact, he was. So we now cut inside of the Skull Mountain, which is where Teach's actual, his throne room is, his cool little, his man cave, Blackbeard's man cave. He's hanging out. And he's not there right now. Blackbeard is, once again, he's at Winter Island with Burgess, Augur, and Doc Q and Stronger taking on Law's crew right now. But Shiryu is there, which is important because I was curious whether or not Shiryu was at Winter Island, but he was invisible, so we didn't see him. So Shiryu is there right now. We already know Shiryu of the Rain, former head jailer at Impel Down, and he has the power of Absalom's clear fruit, so we already knew that. But then we also have Avalo Pizarro, the corrupt king from the North Blue, emerging out of the floorboards, or maybe the stone. I think it's detailed more like wood, so this is interesting. He appears out of that, and Shiryu's just talking to him, he's just like smoking a cigar, and he's just like, "Pizarro, you could have captured Kobe. Why didn't you?" And he's just like, "Later. He's annoying. He'll wreck a bunch of stuff like Teach said. Meow." Pizarro talks like a cat. I don't really know why. He just talks like a cat. Meow. Anyway, we get Avalo Pizarro's devil fruit. We have the island fruit, the Shima no Mi, okay? Making Avalo Pizarro an island man. Alright, we're gonna get a lot of devil fruits in this chapter. This is the most devastatingly powerful one, by far. Literally, you can assimilate with a damn island. Now, normally, I'd be really, like, whoa, that's, I don't know how the Marine's gonna deal with that. The dude can literally turn into an island and can, shape it to his will. That's insane. Garp's coming at the end of the chapter, ladies and gentlemen. Garp! 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 You don't think Garp can punch out an island? We'll get to it when we get to it, but do you seriously think Garp cannot punch out an island? I don't even think this is the first time Garp has had to punch out an island. There was probably one time, actually, Pizarro recently got the Shima no Mi. Pretty sure he didn't have this when he was at Marineford, okay? Because they've been hunting for rare devil fruits. So who knows? Garp might have fought a previous user of the Shima no Mi at some point. Hell, what's crazy is that at some point, Garp probably got into an argument with an island anyway. Just like Garp's drinking one night and he's getting a little drunk and he's like, "What'd you say about my mom, island?" And just starts fighting the island anyway. And that's how not all islands are wiped off the map because of Eam, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just say that, okay? So yeah, this is actually probably the upgraded devil fruit of Pika's. Pika had access to the Ishi no Mi, making him a stone assimilation human. So Pika was able to assimilate with any stone that he came in contact with. So like the castle at Dressrosa, the ground, anything that's made of stone he could turn into. Even like a giant mountain Pika turned into. This seems like the upgraded form of that, where Pizarro is able to assimilate with anything on an island, including the island itself. So he turned into a mountain, the same thing that Pika did, except he was able to talk through the mountain, like projecting his voice through the mountain, as if the mountain had like vocal cords, which it doesn't, obviously. It's a mountain. So also we see him coming out of the floor here. So I'm really interested in knowing what the limit of this island fruit is. Because if you seriously think about it, like, is it just anything that's on the island? So he can assimilate with anything, even something that's not like originally part of the island. Now, if you look at Hachinosu, a lot of it looks like it's carved out of stone. A lot of the buildings don't look like they're wooden buildings. They look like, you know, stone structures that are carved out of the island itself. So maybe it's a little different. But here we see him like coming out of the floor. So it's like anything that's on the island that's physically touching it. So if you build a wooden house on Hachinosu, you know, and Pizarro is there, he could just like merge with that wooden house. That might be the thing. And it could be anything. And like, we're thinking kind of small on this right now, like just mountains, but island Nomi, that includes a lot of things. Forests, lakes, you know, could he just turn into could Pizarro's body just form out of a lake and be like, I am the island man, and form out of the forest, kind of like Aramaki's Mori Mori no Mi. Is this only applicable to Hachinosu or any island he's on? Because if it's any island he's on, does that mean if he takes like one step, because, okay, Hachinosu is not that big of an island, okay? It's relatively small. But if you take another island that's bigger, like Alabasta, Alabasta's huge. It's got like a giant desert and all these cities, and Alubarna. Alabasta's a big island. If Pizarro like takes one step on Alabasta, can he just, you know, control the entire island? Can he like warp immediately to like, I will now go to Alabasta, and like take one step in Nanohana, and then he can instantly warp to the palace at Alubarna and morph into like turn the entire city of Alubarna into like a giant Megazord, like what? Meow, you know, like maybe, I don't know, maybe if he awakens it, but that, you know, he'd have to live long enough to try that, and I don't think that's going to go down. All right. So next up, we see Vasco Shot. So Vasco Shot is the heavy drinker, another former inmate of level 6 of Impel Down. And we see him outside, and he's actually floating on a bunch of bubbles. So he's out there, and he's just like, Topa, Topa, Topa. I love Vasco Shot's laughing style. It might be my favorite laughter style in all of One Piece. It's like, Topa, 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 Topa. You know? And so he's like, yeah, you want me to burn the whole damn town down? I can just do that. That'll probably kill him. Glug, 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 glug. So, Vasco Shot is there. Most of his nose, because Vasco Shot has like this giant nose, is now red with liquor, so he's super drunk. I'm actually thinking, what if Vasco Shot's like the redness of his nose is like a gauge for how drunk he is, therefore how powerful he is. It's like Ryumo and Hozoki Maru from Bleach, you know, Ikaku's Bankai, that has like this gauge, like the more it fills up, the stronger it is. Maybe that's how Vasco Shot's nose works. It's like Frankie's hair, pre-time skip, Frankie's hair worked as like a gauge to determine how much cola power he had. That's how much booze power that that Vasco Shot has. You know, the more red his nose gets, he's like, glug, 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 I can defeat you now, I can do it. Little vodka cannon, you know, just fire off. Dude, all right. So he appears, and Pizarro appears out of the mountain as a face. He just like, hey, Vasco Shot, we just fixed up the rocky port. We can't be destroying the whole town. Calm down. All right. So we get Vasco Shot's ability. He ate the glug glug fruit. One translate. It's the onomatopoeia. It's the sound effect for drinking. It's the glug glug glug. You know, it's like whenever I was talking about Kaido or pretending to be Kaido for a video, I would always be like, oh, those damn samurai, glug, glug, glug. You know, he ate that fruit, okay? There were some translations earlier on, though. I read it initially as the liquor fruit, but it's more about just generically, like, drinking, which, you know, you could make that sound effect when you're drinking a lot of booze or sake or whatever. Considering it's Vasco Shot here, I'm assuming it's specifically alcohol and spirits. I don't think it's a Logia. Also, in the same vein, I don't think Pizarro's is a Logia, because if it is the upgraded upgraded form of the Pika Pika no Mi. It's possible that the upgraded form could be a Logia, I guess, but most of the time, like, the upgraded and downgraded forms are the same class. Like, the upgraded form of the Yuki Yuki no Mi is the Hia Hia no Mi, which is, like, Monet's fruit was the snow fruit, and then Aokiji's fruit was the ice fruit or the cold fruit. So I'm thinking that, you know, Pizarro is still a Paramecia, not a Logia, he just merges with the island, same thing that Pika could do. So I'm thinking it's a Paramecia with Vasco, and he's floating on these bubbles, all right? And then we pan down and we see San Juan Wolf, the battleship, sleeping on the side of the mountain, okay? And Vasco Shots is like, oh, come on, Pizarro. Let me go and fight Kobe. What, you're gonna send, if you're worried about causing property damage, shouldn't we not send San Juan at least? You know, because San Juan Wolf is this giant amongst giants. Like, he's huge. He's like the biggest giant in the entire story. Not the largest character ever. I don't know if the Kraken is bigger than San Juan, although then again, we don't really know exactly what San Juan's full limits are. It was already revealed a long time ago, I think in a Vivre card, he had some, it was never named, but it was said that San Juan Wolf has a devil fruit that allows him to alter his size. So ordinarily, he's just an ordinary giant, okay? He's not much bigger than like a normal giant would be. He might actually be smaller than like Dory and Broggy. Dory and Broggy were like over 20 meters tall, and the smallest that a giant can be is 12 meters. And I think most giants are somewhere in the middle of that, like 17, 18 meters tall or something like that. So that's San Juan's normal size, but he ate the giant fruit, becoming a giant man. So now he can, or another translation I saw was the inflation fruit. So he can alter his size. It was something that we already kind of knew about. It also answers a question like, how did they get San Juan Wolf into Impel Down, right? Because he was big enough at Marineford to like hide behind Marine HQ, which is like this huge pagoda-style building, and, you know, San Juan was like the size of that. Like, just as a size comparison to Oars and the other giants, this is how big San Juan was at Marineford. This might not even be his top size, okay? But anyway, we see him chilling out on the island, and he's sleeping right now, and he's still sized up pretty big. He's not like the normal giant. He's like the size he was at Marineford, maybe a little smaller than that, but he's there just like, he's snoozing, and like little bubbles are coming out of his nose as he's sleeping, and Vasco Shot is riding on those bubbles. So this is interesting with Vasco Shot's Devil Fruit ability, okay? Where he's riding on these bubbles. I'm assuming him riding on the bubble is indicative of his Devil Fruit ability, and it's the Glug Glug Fruit allowing him control over liquids or drinking or liquor specifically. I don't know. Because he's not, it implies here, Vasco is not creating these bubbles. San Juan is creating the bubbles as he's sleeping, like, whoop, whoop, and like they're going up, and Vasco's riding on top of them. So, a couple of options here. His Devil Fruit might have the ability to control any form of liquid, which is insane. This is essentially the closest thing to like a water fruit, and made a video about that years ago on how that could work. Now, let's say that for a moment. Even if Vasco Shot does have some kind of water, liquid fruit, that doesn't mean he's immune to the Devil Fruit weakness, that he can go in the water. He could still be weak to water, but being able to create it or mold it, you know, something like that of that nature, okay? He just has to be careful, because this Devil Fruit can be very self-damaging if he's not careful. Or, another way I was looking at it, what if he can take, if it really is like a liquor Devil Fruit, what if he can take any liquid, doesn't matter what it is, and he can turn that liquid into liquor, and then he can control it and manipulate it as he sees fit. So San Juan is just down there snoozing, and these are just like regular bubbles, like just water and stuff that are coming out of him. And then he just takes that bubble and he can turn that into like a gin bubble or whatever, and then he can just hang out on top of that and just like, you know what, he can turn anything he wants into liquor. It might be something like that too. Or it might not have anything to do with the Devil Fruit. It might just be San Juan creating bubbles that are strong enough for Vasco to float on. But I'm thinking it does involve his Devil Fruit there. So yeah, with San Juan Wolf, when they captured him and threw him into Impel Down, they probably captured him, threw the sea prism on, he went back to regular giant size, and that's how they were able to get him in Impel Down. Then Blackbeard freed him, got the cuffs off, and then once outside of Impel Down, he could re-emerge. Although, that's still really dangerous, because if San Juan, while he was imprisoned in Impel Down at any point, managed to get free of the sea prism, he could have just, boo, and just like blown apart the entire freaking prison. So, that was dangerous, but I guess that didn't happen. Okay. So, going back to Kobe here, all the pirates are shooting at him, they're firing rockets, and Kobe's with his iron ball, and he's running through town, and he's trying to get out of there. He's using Soru and Geppo, and he's jumping around, he's trying to escape, okay? He's like, man, I can't outrun them all. I gotta figure out a way to get out of here. So then we get a little bit of a flashback here to after Blackbeard captured Kobe and brought him back to the island. So we see Blackbeard's throne room, which is like really cool. He's got like a giant seat, and there's like chains and torches everywhere, and a big, you know, the big flag of the Blackbeard crew, the 3 skulls is behind him. Really cool looking digs here, okay? And this was in the past here. So we have Blackbeard, we have Aokiji, or Kuzan, I guess, as he's referred to as now. Van Augur is there, Doc Q is there, Pizarro is there. Okay, so, you know, Doc Q and Augur, remember, are not there right now, but this was before. So, the reason that Blackbeard captured Kobe was he was going to plan to ransom him to the world government, so the government would make Hachinosu an official island, like an actual kingdom, part of the world government, as with Blackbeard as their king. That was Blackbeard's plan. Sorry, Brooke. Okay, you know what's crazy about Blackbeard? Blackbeard and Luffy's... I keep thinking Luffy's over here still. Blackbeard and Luffy's personalities, very similar when you really think about it. You know what I mean? They're definitely men of action that... You know, they do have plans every once in a while, but they definitely act first, think later. This is kind of one of those moments. Like, remember that old moment when Blackbeard walked into Impel Down and was just like, oh, you must be Magellan. I'm here to fight you. Oh, God, it's poison. Ah! You know, like that, you see how, remember how that went down? Yeah, you know what I mean? Think first, act first, ask questions later kind of a situation. So, Blackbeard is like, oh, Kobe, yeah, I could use you to make Hachinosu a kingdom, all right? So, Kobe is like, all right, well, there is, like, so many reasons on why that's not going to work and why that's a horrible idea. But the most notable one is that's not going to work because I'm not going to be useful as ransom because I'm a member of Sword. And Blackbeard is just like, Sword? The hell's that? Just... I love that. I love this. Like, what? Sword? I don't know what's going on. What is that? And it's just like, okay. So then Kuzan is there. And Kuzan immediately knows what Sword is, probably because he might actually be part of it, but whatever. Kuzan, this is, by the way, this is a ballsy move from Kuzan, but if this plays out the way I think it is, it's going to be great. So Kuzan explains Sword. He's just like, all right, yeah, see, that's not going to work then, Teach. Sorry, it's not going to work. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, all right, well, listen, Sword is... it's a special kind of division of the Marines. Kobe is a Marine and he's not a Marine. See, Marines usually have to follow strict orders with the chain of command and then the world government. They cannot attack Yonko, for instance, without government approval, okay? So Sword is sort of like a special regiment where Marines will officially resign. So Kobe technically has resigned from the Marines, okay? He turned in his identification chip, his Marine code and everything like that. Not the identification chip, that's what Celestial Dragons have. Marines have like a specific code. Remember back when Corazon was like relaying his information to Sengoku? He was like, yes, I'm Marine code 0324, you know, like that kind of stuff, okay? So Kuzan explains, so they officially are resigned. They're not really Marines. Now, they still technically have their rank and they're still able to pilot their ships and command forces. However, they have the added benefit that they can go after Yonko whenever they please. If they feel like marching into a Yonko territory and waging war, they can do that. However, at any time, the world government can completely sever ties with them. That is the kind of trade-off where Kobe, right now, I mean, well, it's a little different for Kobe because he's the hero of the Marines, as Teach says in a moment here. But for a normal Marine, it's kind of like, oh, hey, this member of SWORD ran into Big Mom's territory. All right, we have nothing to do with that. Cut ties with him. Because they've already like, oh, that Marine resigned 2 years ago. We have nothing to do with that Marine. So you get the impression there with Drake. Now, Drake, I feel like Drake did something to be declared as a traitor of the Marines. Like, I think Drake actually killed another Marine, so to go deep cover with it. I don't think, like, SWORD is well known throughout the world. Like, not everybody else. Like, Teach had no idea what it was, okay? Now, here's the thing. What if Kuzan is a member of SWORD and just told Blackbeard straight out that he's a member of SWORD? Basically like saying to Blackbeard, yeah, SWORD is a bunch of Marines that have officially resigned, but they can basically do what they want, and the Marines cut all ties with them, and then they can just go to fight Yonko whenever. And then Teach is just like, oh, all right, yeah, that makes sense. And then later on, it's revealed that Kuzan is a member of SWORD, and just like, I told you straight to your face, Blackbeard, that I was a member of SWORD. Teach should have figured that out immediately. Wait a second. Disowned by the Marines, no official status anymore, can attack Yonko without reprieve from the world government. Hey, that's weird, Kuzan. That seems to describe you. Oh, no, that's not me. I'm just describing SWORD. I'm not a member of SWORD. There's a bunch of dorks, if you ask me. No, I'm just here because I didn't like being with the Marines. Oh, all right, yeah, that makes sense. All right, Kobe, just like... I think Kuzan's a member of SWORD. He also might be lying because, you know, maybe to save Kobe, Kuzan might be kind of lying a little bit here on exactly the nature of SWORD. He might be stretching the truth a little bit just so it helps Kobe out significantly there. Like, oh yeah, Teach, you can't, Kobe's not going to be useful for that because it's not going to happen. You know, they're just going to cut ties with him, right? So, Blackbeard, though, looks at him and he's just like, Zah! Well, that might be true for these normal members of SWORD, but this is the hero, Captain Kobe, we got here. I don't think the Marines will want to cut ties with you just like that. I think we're still going to keep you around. Lock 'em in the brig, men! Zah! So that's the idea. So, Blackbeard still wants to go along with this idea of using Kobe as a bargaining chip. Now, here's the other question. Why would Blackbeard want to be a king of the world? Well, king of the world, yes. King of an island for the world government. All right, that doesn't make any sense. We have a pirate, a lawless pirate island that you want to be part of the world government. All right, so this is another thing. I think Teach is, he has an idea, but he's not really thinking this through too well. Because I think in Blackbeard's mindset, you know how he became a warlord with the explicit goal of breaking into Impel Down and then going to Marineford and then killing Whitebeard? That was his plan. All right, I think he's trying to do something like that. He's like, wait a second, all right, here's what's going to happen. Here's my master Blackbeard taking over the world plan. Step 1, capture Kobe. All right, that's done. Step 2, use Kobe as bargaining chip to make Hachinosu an official world government island. They'll have to do it, so let's just assume that happens. It wouldn't in a million years, but let's say it did. Like, all right, cool. I'm King Blackbeard now. Check it out, everybody, I got a crown. Step 3, get invited to Reverie. Yep, all right, I'm on Reverie now. Step 4, murder everybody in Marijois. Boom, boom, boom. Step 5, take a light break of ice cream. Maybe some cherry pie in there, too. All right, good. And step 6, sit on the empty throne. Zah! It's foolproof, I tells ya! That actually might be... I mean, that's an idea. Like, honestly, the warlord idea was crazy when you think about it that way. If you look at the warlord... Alright, step 1, send Lafitte to Marijois. Step 2, convince the strongest Marines and the rulers of the world to make me, a relatively unknown pirate, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Holy shit, that actually worked. All right, step 3, capture Ace. All right, step 4, go to Impel Down. All right, step 5, break everybody out of Impel Down. That was easy. Step 6, go to Marineford. Okay, step 7, kill Whitebeard. That's a crazy plan when you think about it on paper, but it actually ended up working out for him. So, all right, Teach, fine, let's roll with that. Also ties back to the whole Rocks King of the World thing, so there you go. So we have another flashback Kobe has earlier on how exactly he got freed from his cell, and it's actually Perona. Perona arrived. Remember, Perona left Gloomy Island when she was staying with Mihawk, and she went to go rescue Moria. Moria was last seen at Hachinosu, so apparently Moria is still there, but he's imprisoned in a lower cell in, like, the dungeons, okay, in a different area that Kobe and the rest of, like, the slaves were, okay? So, This is interesting because remember, Blackbeard basically gave Moria an ultimatum. He was like, you know, join us or, you know, be our prisoner. And Moria, I guess, was true to his principles. He's just like, Kishi Shishi, I'll never join you, Teach. And then he was like, oh, all right then, ugh, kick the shit out of him. All right, throw him in the brig. Gotcha. You know, like, that was pretty much it right there, okay? So Moria's still on the island somewhere. I guess he's not dead yet because they would have just stolen his devil fruit, I suppose. Though he could be. Like, he could be dead and his body, like, might be somewhere else and it might be manipulated as a zombie, so Perona might not be happy when she finds him. But Perona's like, hey, I'm gonna help you get out of here, but only if you release Master Moria from his other prison, from the lower prisons, if you can. And so that's how Kobe got out of there. I also have to question, what was, Kobe doesn't have a devil fruit ability. So Sea Stone's not going to be a problem for him. We already see he can lift an iron ball and jump around town like it's no big deal. He's super strong. What were they exactly keeping him locked in with? I guess they could have used Sea Stone to lock him in. It would not drain his power, but it's still, like, unbreakable, as we've explained in the story. It's like the hardest substance out there. So, you know, that might have been it. Maybe it's like a Sea Prism cell that Kobe just, he couldn't break out of, even though he's not weakened by it. So maybe it's something like that. So Kobe's still running around town, and then he hears a bunch of pirates saying that Marines have now arrived on the island. Like, the Marines are attacking the port! Oh, we just fixed that! And just, Kobe's running around and he's just like, oh, the Marines, are they here to save me? No, that's, the Marines wouldn't be here for old me. I'm just being too arrogant again. So Kobe's like being like that humility. He's just like, the Marines are here to save me? No, they wouldn't send Marines to save me. I'm just a captain. Nobody cares about old Kobe. And so he just goes on. But now we cut over to the port and we see, yes, in fact, Garp's group has arrived. Garp's not there yet, but the other members that we saw at G14 are arriving. So we have Prince Groose there. Remember, Prince Groose had like an entourage of Marines. There was one dude, this guy, because they first appeared in a cover page way back in Beiji's Oh My Family. So this is Prince Groose, and this is one of the dudes that is like his like bodyguards, and he's like a big bald Marine that has like the shoulder pads, okay? So, and there's also two other Marines, one that has like a beard, one that has like an afro, and they were like hanging out with Prince Groose at G14, all right? So they're charging the island, and they're just like opening fire and like cutting down a bunch of the pirates, and they're like, you know, oh, the guns aren't working on them, what are these things? And then so one pirate pulls out a sword and he's just like, I'll just cut him down. So he shows up and like decapitates the dude, the bald dude, but he hits the ground and his body just kind of morphs into like goo, and he's just like, hey man, that really hurt. And they're like, whoa, I cut his head off and he's still moving like he's goop. What is he, a Logia or something? Okay, so that's what's happening. Then we cut over to a different part of the town where all of the buildings on Hachinosu are kind of like moving. And this is interesting because you would assume Pizarro with the island fruit would be able to move the island as well, but that's not what's going on here, okay? The buildings are just kind of moving on their own, slowly like boxing everybody in. And then you cut over to one of the alleyways where we see a woman, and this woman was also shown during that cover page. She was also there as part of Prince Groose's little group, and her name is revealed. She is also a Marine Rear Admiral. Remember, Prince Groose was a Rear Admiral. She is also a member of SWORD. This is Rear Admiral Kujaku, the granddaughter of Osuru, the greatest tactician. So Suru, who is, you know, Vice Admiral, joined the Marines alongside Sengoku and Garp way back, like well over 50 years ago. She has the power of the Washu Washu no Mi, the laundry fruit that I talked about is like the weirdest devil fruit in One Piece. She hasn't really done all that much. She had a a whole rivalry with Doflamingo. A really good scene is when she was talking to Doflamingo when he was in the prison ship. So this is her granddaughter, okay, Kujaku, and she has the power of the whip fruit. So as you would imply, oh god, there's gonna be so many jokes here. All right, so she pulls out her whip, which is like a sword whip. It has like a sword hilt, like a katana, you know. It has like the guard and everything like that, and the hilt, but then instead of an actual blade, it's just a whip. So I don't know if this means her ability allows her to turn anything into a whip. Like if she picks up a katana, she can just turn the katana into a whip. Maybe it could. Well, anyway, she's whipping all of the buildings. And she's being a little bit of a dominatrix about this. She's just like, oh yeah, you're a dirty building, aren't you? Oh yeah, look how many floors you have. You're gonna listen to me. You're gonna move over there, aren't you? Oh yeah, good building. So, I don't know what's going on in One Piece anymore, guys. So the pirates look over, and I admit are probably confused. They see a Marine on Pirate Island whipping buildings and talking dirty like a dommy mommy to them. So the pirates are just like, who's that woman? And the woman looks over and Kujaku is just like, oh, you guys look cute. Let me tame you. And then the pirates, of course, are like, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. Just like, sure. So, that's not what happens. They don't actually go over, but I'm sure some of them were like, yeah, Captain, let's go get, oh, right, okay, yeah, all right. Just, all right, it's like, damn it, Bill, just not now, all right? Pirates are invading our island. He's like, yeah, I know, but she's got a whip. It's hot, dude. It's just like, all right, fine, okay, maybe later I'll whip you if you want me to, but like, we gotta deal with this threat right now, all right? Marines are attacking, okay? So, that's gonna be an issue. So meanwhile, Kobe has kind of run into this big open like field or like plaza in the center of the island, and he is surrounded by like dozens of pirates, and they all have their guns, you know, honed right there on Kobe, and they're about to open fire, and he's completely surrounded, and Kobe's like, man, how am I gonna get out of this? I'm surrounded on all sides. If only I could fly, which I totally can. Aw, man, I'm dead. So the pirates are all just like, all right, Captain Kobe, looks like it's the end of the road for you. Men, raise your rifles. Ready? Aim! Kobe's like, firemen! Boop, 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 boop. And then flowers just pop out of all of the gun barrels. I'm like, what the hell's this? What is this? It's just like, that looks like a marigold. Well, that looks like a carnation, particularly. Nah. Do you know anything about flowers? That is clearly a yellow snowdrop. It's just like, oh, all right, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not great at flowers. Oh, look, Dave got a red rose. Oh, look at Dave. So they're just like admiring the flowers. Like, oh, those are pretty flowers. You know, I was saying we needed more nice gardens around Hachinosu. It's mostly just dirt and stone. It's kind of boring, honestly. We should plant some flower gardens. I'll talk about this with Teach tomorrow, and we'll see. So, this was something we actually saw earlier in the German cover page spread. This is the GP bullet that Vegapunk invented, and he won the Ibel Peace Prize for. The device, or something, that turns gunpowder into flowers. Or flowers pop out of gunpowder, okay? So we cut over to a sniper on top of one of the buildings, and this is Hibari. So Hibari is the, she was the one that's like, we gotta save Kobe, senpai! He's my senpai! You know, and so this is Hibari, who is a commander, so she's one rank higher than Helmeppo and one rank below Kobe, alright? And so she's there, and she has a gun, and she has like a scope on the gun. It actually looks like a modern, like, I played Modern Warfare 2. This looks like a holographic scope or something she's got on that thing, alright? So she gets a certain amount of kills, she unlocked that thing. And so she's just, I don't know how this works though. Like, I really don't know how this gunpowder flower bullet works. Because she's clearly like, she says, he's like, I fired one of my trusty gunpowder flower bullets at them. So is it like the gun, like she fires a bullet and then it hits and then it creates like a fog or something and then all the gunpowder in that area turns to flowers? Like, is that how this works? Because there was no like fog or anything. You'd think it'd be like a gas weapon or something, like, and then all gunpowder's rendered useless. Unless it's like I mean, Vegapunk is a brilliant scientist, so he can invent crazy stuff. Unless it's like some kind of like EMP thing where it's like psh, psh, zoom, and then like everything in that area is now rendered useless. If it's gunpowder, it just turns to flowers, like an alchemy bullet or something. So anyway, let's talk about Hibari's outfit for a second, because it is awesome, all right? So Hibari is rocking like camo commander pants. And like one pant leg is like camo, another pant leg is like striped. Then she's wearing like a marine, like pocketed, like combat shirt, except it's a crop top. So it's like a marine combat shirt that she's like, okay, crop top. She has a backpack with a teddy bear on one of the side pockets. She has a sniper rifle with a holographic scope, and she has like a bunch of hearts and nice little like girly stuff on her shirt, and then she has headphones on, or like earmuffs, which would make sense if she's a sniper. She is the only character in One Piece that is following proper firearm protocol and actually wearing ear protection. Ben Beckman, Yasop, they're not protecting their ears at all. Their ears are gonna be shot. You know, that's not good for you, okay? Hibari's playing this by the rule book, ladies and gentlemen, all right? So Hibari's there, and I guess she doesn't have a devil fruit or anything. She's just a badass marine sniper. So she's just like, Kobe, come over here. I mean, didn't come over here like that. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, come over here and let me rescue you. Oh, whatever. And just like, I'm here to rescue you. Get over here. Just like, aw. Kobe has a girlfriend, isn't that cute? Kobe and Hibari sitting in a tree. You know, so that's funny. Then we get to the, not the headliner yet. Garp is definitely the headliner. But then we have Prince Groose, okay? So we've seen this dude before. Prince Groose is the guy that has the really long build cap, and he was the one that initially Helmeppo and Hibari were asking for his help to come and rescue Kobe. And he's just like, we can't just barge into the pirate island. You know, that's like be sticking our faces into a beehive. I'm sorry, I can't help you. And so that's when Garp gets involved, and he's just like, come on, everybody, we're going. And I think at that moment, Prince Groose was like, all right, if Garp's backing us up, all right, let's go bust some heads. So we see Prince Groose here. He's also a Rear Admiral. We already knew that. He's a member of SWORD. Already knew that. And he has the power of the goo goo fruit or the clay fruit. One version of that. The goop, goo, goo. The onomatopoeia, the sound of like goop congealing or whatever. So one of the translations I saw initially was it was like mud. It's not mud. I also think that kind of goes more into Caribou's territory, where Caribou has the power of the Numa Numa no Mi, which is the swamp fruit, which is kind of mud in its own right, and that's a Logia. I think this is a Paramecia, and I think this is actually the upgraded form of the wax fruit. So Mr. 3, Galdino's wax fruit, the Doro Doro no Mi, could create wax, and it can harden harder than steel, but it could still melt like wax. This is something similar, where I think Prince Groose is a Paramecia, and he creates these clay golems using his Devil Fruit ability. So earlier, when we saw that guy charging, he was creating golem duplicates of his own men that were attacking and then getting cut up, and they were just glooping, and they were just like, oh, that still hurt. You know, they can merge back together to reform and fight, okay? So I think it's like that. I think it's an upgraded form of the wax fruit, whereas if wax is heated, it melts. Clay is sort of the opposite, where if you heat up clay enough, and the temperature difference is huge. Like for wax, it only has to be like 100 or so degrees for it to start melting. With clay, you have to get it fired into a kiln at like over 1,000 degrees for it to actually harden, but it doesn't soften like wax, it hardens, okay? All the clay that we see up until now is clay that's like goo. It's like malleable clay that he can form. Even the golems that got attacked are more like goop, which is way better for attacks. So I'm thinking though, if fire was used against Prince Groose, it would have a similar effect where it is the weakness to the Doro Doro no Mi and it is the weakness to the clay fruit. Just, you have to turn up the temperature a bit. Like if, you know, Ace could have probably achieved a temperature like that easily. So if Prince Groose fought against Ace or Sabo or Akainu, for example, or I guess even Oven would be the perfect counter, I think, for Prince Groose. Prince Groose creates all of these golems to attack Oven. Oven is a superheated human. He basically is a kiln, all right? So he could just like superheated fist, and then all of the clay would be super fired like at like thousands of degrees, and that goo would just like instantly get hardened, okay? So that's probably how this works, but for right now, there's really nobody in Blackbeard's crew that has access to fire abilities. I don't think so. So, you know, Shiryu is, you know, the invisible fruit. Pizarro is an island. Vasco shot controls liquor. Although Vasco did say, I want to burn the town down. But I don't think, like, reaching temperatures to actually fire clay like that, has to be hot. Not just a little hot, but hot. Okay? Yeah, so I think that might not be an issue that is involved right now. So, basically, the Marines are corralling all of the pirates into the square where Kobe was rescued by Hibari. So all the buildings that Kujaku tamed are being sent to the center. By the way, yeah, the whip fruit, whatever she whips has to obey her order, even inanimate objects. Kind of similar to Dot S's ability in One Punch Man. Second One Punch Man reference in the video. Would this work on humans? I don't know. Like, she whips a human and they're like, yes, Kujaku senpai, I will do whatever you say. You know, yes, mistress, you know, something. I don't know. But anyway, they're using that to push all of the buildings like this. And so all the pirates are kind of like in the center of town. I'm assuming Kobe went to go to Hibari, so he's out of the way. And Prince Cruz is there kind of using his golems to kind of corral everybody in. And then, last scene of the chapter... double page spread, quadruple page spread. We have Tashigi and Helmeppo yelling because they're on the ship. Tashigi's with them. I don't know if she's a member of SWORD. It's not actually confirmed one way or the other. Smoker's not there that we know of. Helmeppo is there, and he's like, hold on tight, everybody! And so you just see Garp's ship launching out of the water over Hachinosu. Like it has coup de burst or something. In the case with Garp, he probably just went over and sneezed on the stern. Not the stern, wait, the bow, the stern. The stern's the back end of the ship, right? Yeah, it's the stern. So Garp was just like, all right, hold on, everybody. Achoo! And then coup de burst, basically. Gets sent flying over Hachinosu. Kobe looks up and he's like, a battleship! That's Garp's ship! What's he doing here? He came and saved me! And then you just see Garp on the deck of the ship, just rearing up, just getting ready. And he's just like laughing his head off. He's just like, ah, ha, ha, ha. You stupid pirates have no idea what you got yourself into. All the pirates down there are like, that's Marine, that's the Vice Admiral Garp, he's the Fist, he's the hero. I thought he retired. It's like, well, he's up there right now, Dave. It's just like, ah. And so Garp is up there, and dude, I would imagine like every pirate is just picturing like their life is flashing before their eyes. It's like what happened with Kid last chapter, but dude, like, okay, you know, you don't have nukes or hydrogen bombs in One Piece, right? They don't have ICBMs. Maybe Vegapunk could create something like that. Eam has, the Uranos ancient weapon or whatever, right? But they don't have like conventional ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles in One Piece, right? Except they do, because who needs ICBMs when you have a Garp, all right? So they literally just, that's probably how they do missile strikes in the One Piece world. They just launch Garp over an island, then there's no island anymore. So all the pirates are like, we gotta run! And then we just see Shiryu and Vasco and everybody looking up, and Garp decrees, did you even realize who you abducted? Kobe is the future of the Marines, and he is also my beloved pupil. Charges up armament and conquers, honed into his mighty fist. And while he's above the island, like, okay, I know the scale's kind of off here a little bit, right? But like, there are these buildings on Hachinosu that are, some of the buildings are like 3 or 4 stories tall. Garp is like way above that. Garp is well above the sky as he brings down his mighty right arm. Galaxy Impact! Ah! It's glorious! Are you not entertained? Garp! 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 G-A-R-P! Who's the man that's got the G? It's Garp! Oh, yeah, it's Garp! Yeah! So this is Garp's, like, I mean, he's had other named attacks that are like the Fist of Love or whatever that he punches Luffy with, but like, this is his first, like, serious attack. Like, this is Garp finally doing something relevant, like big, large-scale moment in One Piece right here. He brings down this fist, and it literally, like, I mean, it might as well be a flashpoint, like a nuke about to detonate, like, It might as well be that, all right? So he is well above the island. He punches. It's like, keep in mind, the ending of this chapter when we see all of the buildings getting knocked back, that is the epicenter of this blast. That is not the entire blast. That is Garp bringing down his fist so hard it transcends light and sound, and then it just like creates a massive shockwave that is beginning to knock the island, like the town away. This is just ground zero for this going off. It's going to expand outwards. It is a shockwave to end all shockwaves. And there's so many pirates are dead. So many pirates are dead down there. All right, like I would also suggest. I was like kind of worried because I'm like, dude, Kobe was down there, Hibari was down there, Prince Groose was down there, Kujaku was down there. Are they all okay? Are they all like out? Did they escape? And I think what happened was Hibari, you know, stopped all of the shots with the gunpowder. So then Kobe went over to Hibari, and then they got out of there. And then Kujaku and Prince Groose and everybody retreated. And they had probably the golems and everybody to like corral all the pirates in. And then boom, this entire thing goes off. Holy crap. Also, Prince Groose might actually be a golem. Like, I don't know if... The idea that he could, maybe they all golems, like he created a golem of Hibari and a golem of Kujaku. I don't think his golems would be able to replicate devil fruit abilities though. Maybe for himself that could work, like he can make a clone of himself and then those golems could work, but whatever. Anyway, they didn't die. Obviously Garp's not going to kill his own men, so they definitely had to, they planned this beforehand. This was something that was planned beforehand, so they all got out of the way in this giant blast, and then yeah. So, no, break next week, by the way. So we like break, and then like we have Shanks, and then break, and then Garp, and then break, which is fair because this is a lot on Oda's plate right now. Oda had 2 baller chapters back to back. Take as many breaks as you want in the middle. You're the professional, Oda. You're the professional. Holy crap. Oh my god, I can't get over this. I can't get over this. Are you ready now? Are you ready for Garp to just straight up murder everybody on this island? You know, are you expecting, or what do you think's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen? This is gonna be that bullshit like an anime where the old dude shows up and he's really powerful, and then immediately after that he gets like one shot by somebody? Oh no, oh no. Oda's not stupid enough to fall for that. No, we are gonna see this through. Garp next chapter is gonna land in the middle of this massive crater. Just, they're not even bodies anymore. They're just atomized, okay? He's gonna be walking through town, and to be fair, all the pirates in this chapter, like I said, are just the riffraff pirates. They're not Vasco or any of the 10 Titanic captains, you know. This is probably going to wake up San Juan Wolf, so he's going to get up and he's going to be like, what are you doing? Roar! And then Garp just, boom, punches out San Juan Wolf, knocks him into the ocean, like, all right, who's next? You know, and it just, he's going to be on a rampage, okay? Also, remember, the whole reason Garp went there was to save Kobe, all right? Kobe is pretty much safe right here. Kobe is in the hands of Hibari probably. They're together, and they're going to get out of there. They were probably not at the epicenter of this blast, so they've probably gotten back to the, you know, heading back to the ship anyway. So really, after Kobe's been rescued, there's really no other reason for Garp to be on this island. So I think Garp can just knock out a few of the members of the 10 Titanic captains and then just skip out, call it a day. That's all he came here to do. He shows up, destroys an entire island of notorious pirates, knocks out some Yonko commanders, rescues his star pupil, has a donut or 2, pieces out. That's all Garp needs to do right here, okay? Blackbeard's not here right now. Unless Augur's ability can warp him back to the island, Teach ain't showing up. So, yeah, Garp is just gonna level this place. Anybody that... I could see Shiryu trying to turn invisible, like, I'm gonna stab you. And then Garp just grabs him, and he's like, I've been a Marine for over 50 years of my life. Do you think that I have not seen every single underhanded pirate tactic in the damn book? Boom! Just clocks Shiryu right in the face, you know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna work. Alright, pirates fight dirty, but Garp has been fighting pirates for 50 plus years. He knows everything. He's been fighting devil fruit users, hockey users, and not only just devil fruit users, he's been fighting the best of the best. He crossed fists with Roger and Whitebeard and Rocks. He's prepared. He knows. Even if Pizarro was like, I am an island. I ate the island fruit. Whoa. And then Garp's like, all right, you ate the island fruit. All right, well, okay. Bam, bam. He just starts punching apart an island. Like, Garp versus an island. Garp wins. You know, San Juan Wolf can make himself the size of Mount Everest. I don't think that's really going to matter. You know, Vasco Shot has his liquor bubbles. Like, attack him, liquor bubbles. You know what I mean? It's like, I prefer tea myself. Bam! Just like... And then Shiryu shows up, and yeah, Shiryu can go invisible. Great. I don't think Garp's gonna be like, he's like, oh man, I'm not gonna fall for an invisible opponent. Garp's dealt with that shit before. All right, so that was the chapter. That was the chapter. I hope you all enjoyed. Break. So, but after we get back from this, I hope we follow up with this. I really do. Please follow up on this, Oda. Please, next chapter, follow up on this. I can't deal with the suspense. All right. Well, anyway, that was the chapter. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about that. And if they're just going to get Kobe and leave, or if Garp's going to knock some 10 Titanic captain heads. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for enjoying the video, everybody. This will be Teching signing out. Oh, Garp! 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 Oh, there was a, I missed a joke. I was going to make a Pringles joke because Prince Groose, his name might actually be because of Pringles. Like, Pringuzu, Prince Groose, Prince Groose. Yeah, it's like, it might be something like that. So, what's your favorite Pringle flavor? Comment down below. Give me cheddar cheese flavored Pringles and I will be a happy man.